Morocco's under-20 team for going on to win the under-20 World Cup. Women's national team of the year is Nigeria for winning the Women's AFCON. And then the men's young player of the year is Othman Mama of Morocco, and the women's young player of the year also Doha from Morocco. So Morocco dominating in the CAF Awards.
Well, certainly. I don't know whether there was a downside to the award where we had a Tanzanian prime minister or president being awarded. Was it true or not really? Then?
No.
Okay, that's fine. But we have to come to the Premier League.
Yes.
The Ghana Premier League. What's the latest?
Premier League. The way you're smiling is because Kotoko won.
Yes. Well, Kotoko is a very good team. And Chelsea too. Chelsea will do very well.
Yes.
But tell me.
Kotoko defeated the Young Apostles by 2-1. And that means that they brought an end to a 2-game winless streak. They drew their last 2 games, and so they definitely needed a victory, and they managed to get that victory. That has moved them to 5th on the Ghana Premier League log, just about a point away from the top 4, and they still have a game in hand, and so that means that Kotoko can possibly break into the top 3 or be in the top 2 if they win their next available match. That is a match that they haven't played yet. So Kotoko have been in good form this season. They are still yet to be defeated this season, and so that's a very good one for them.
That's a good thing. Well, a good thing is that we're able to qualify for the World Cup.
Yes.
Yeah. So we went straight away.
Yes.
Nigeria, if they had qualified, we'll go and do we have a playoff?
Nigeria are out of the playoffs.
Yes, I know. If they had won.
Yes, if they had won, they would have been in the intercontinental playoff.
Yes.
That's like the final step to qualify for the World Cup.
But so is it only 1 slot for the intercontinental playoff? 2 slots?
Yes, 2 slots.
So they would have been one of the teams from Africa to go and play in the intercontinental playoff games?
Yes.
Okay.
And the thing for them was, if they had beaten DR Congo, they would have gone straight to the final of the intercontinental playoffs.
They
wouldn't have had to play an extra game because of their ranking in the world. But unfortunately, they didn't qualify. DR Congo have rather taken that slot. So DR Congo need just 1 match, right? They have to just wait for the other 4 to battle each other and then come and meet them. And if they win, that's it. They've qualified for the World Cup. But as it stands, 42 teams out of 48 have qualified for the World Cup. There are 6 slots left. 4 will go to the Europeans. They have to play their own playoff. And then 2 will go in the intercontinental zone.
Okay. But so the Africa region playing with which of them?
Playing with the CONCACAF, CONMEBOL.
Okay.
Yeah, for a slot. So one of 2 slots in qualification to the World Cup. And my colleague Akosi AJ sums it up in this report.
The FIFA World Cup qualifiers has concluded with 42 nations securing their places. Among them is Brazil, the only team to qualify in all 22 previous editions of the tournament. UEFA will send 12 teams including former champions France, Germany, Spain and England. Africa's 9 qualifiers present a mix of historic achievers and returning powers. Morocco, Africa's first ever World Cup semi-finalist, headlined the group alongside Ghana, who in 2010 became the continent's second quarter-finalist after Cameroon. They are joined by first-timers, Cape Verde, and returning sides, Egypt, Algeria, South Africa, and Ivory Coast. The Asian Football Federation will feature 8 participants, highlighted by debutants Jordan and Uzbekistan. In CONCACAF, host Canada, Mexico, and the United States of America received automatic berth, while Curaçao make history as the smallest nation ever to reach the World Cup.
Obispo gets the header out. Curaçao have done it. A blue wave is heading to the World Cup.
Haiti added an inspiring chapter of its own, 4 parts that will produce the last 4 European qualifiers for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Traditional contenders such as Italy, Turkey and Sweden are among those waiting to learn their route. The Intercontinental Playoff is expected to produce 2 teams who will complete the final 48 teams for the tournament. The final qualifying matches will take place in March, when 6 additional nations will join the 42 already qualified. The final draw for the FIFA World Cup 2026 is scheduled for 5th December in Washington, D.C. at the Kennedy.
Well, that'll be it for this, and great education there as well. And so you see, even though we say player, so I just needed to have an insight into it. But look, you have an exclusive,
yes,
and it's about a former athlete.
Yeah, so it's a feature about an athlete who back in 2015, he was on his way to writing his WASI and all of that, but he made one wrong leap. And since then, he's been confined
You mean
to...
a high jumper?
He's not even a high jumper. He decided to try it.
Okay.
But unfortunately, that was the end of him becoming an able-bodied person. And it's a very emotional one, and it's airing this evening on News 360. I think it's something that a lot of people definitely have to watch because it's very emotional. It advises. I mean, mistakes are part of life, but one mistake can, mess up your life for a very long time. And so look out for it. It's one leap, a lifetime.
Well, certainly. That'll be all for sports, but you can get the latest. We're talking about 3 Sports GH across social media. Get the latest as it is. But you also know that it's that time of the year again, and the air is festive, spirits are high, and the search for the perfect holiday escape begins. This season, South African tourism is inviting you to come find your joy right in the heart of the Sun City, South Africa. Now, whether it's a family getaway, a romantic retreat, or an adventure with friends, there is a festive experience all meant customized just for you. Enjoy packages like the Christmas packages they have in Cape Town or the Jingle Bells in South Africa with flights, luxury stays, city tours, wine tastings, and more. Now, from the scenic drives to safari fun, every detail is all planned for your pure joy and ease. The Christmas getaway offers nights of indulgence, stunning tours, and a taste of South Africa's finest land escapes, whichever you choose. Now, it is South Africa, which is promising warmth, wonder, and memories all to last a lifetime. So make sure you do this. Visit their site, southafrica.net, to book your joyful getaway today. Find your joy this December with South Africa and South Africa tourism. Well, we have to go for a break. When we come back, we have more right here on the show.
I want us to go to the Elwak Sports Stadium now, where my colleague Joseph Armstrong is monitoring the resumption of the recruitment process by the Ghana Armed Forces. Armstrong, if you can hear me, tell us what's going on. Armstrong, we can hear you. I'm sure you remember that there was an unfortunate incident just a couple of weeks ago where some 6 females died because they had come to be recruited into the various arms of the Ghana Armed Forces, and subsequent to that, we had the Interior Ministry issuing a statement giving us guidelines regarding how they were going to go about the recruitment. Centers have been created, not just in the Greater Accra region, but across the country, to ensure that the recruitment is a bit more orderly. I think about 600 per center, and the times will be given to individuals, what time to come and how to go about the process. And so the resumption of it after these measures were put in place is what we're talking about. And my colleague Joseph Armstrong, being at the Elwak Sports Stadium right here in Accra, going to bring us an update. We understand that James Agalga, who is on the Defence and Interior Committee, he was the ranking then whilst in opposition. The Member of Parliament for Klote Korle constituency, Zaneto Rollins, has also just spoken. So we'll be going to Joseph Armstrong to really bring us updates regarding how the exercise is going. But Roland, I mean, that must be really great news, and hopefully it's really organized as we saw in that statement earlier.
Well, true. And I guess the redesignation of the various center gives everybody a better perspective as to where to go and which of the forces that they are intending to get enlisted in, they need to apply for or congregate. And I feel this is in a better perspective. Yeah. It's just unfortunate that we had to witness those fatalities or that tragedy the first time around.
Yeah. So Joseph Armstrong is standing by. We should be... Okay, let's show you actually live visuals of what's going on whilst we try to connect to our correspondent, Joseph Armstrong, who is currently at the Elwak Sports Stadium, one of the centers created. So these are live visuals you're seeing on your screens. It looks like, well, a vehicle seemingly for the government official going to ensure that things are well. And you can see the place is not really that crowded. And it seems a bit more orderly as compared to what we saw just a number of days ago when people were just, you know, rushing in, climbing walls and going into the Elwak Sports Stadium. Looks like it's a bit more organized. So yes, shortly we should be bringing you that update from the Elwak Sports Stadium. Some soldiers you're seeing in your shot, and you can see the potential recruits, some of them registering, some walking in, looking a bit more decent than we last saw when the unfortunate incident happened when those individuals died. Yeah. Let's go to
Accra military recruitment screening exercise currently ongoing. I'm at the Elwak Sports Stadium, where we just received the Parliamentary Select Committee on Defence and Interior, and also we had the CDS and other military high officials joining them to in a way check what is happening, the measures put in place to ensure we do not have a reoccurrence of what happened sometime last week, claiming the lives of some 6 individuals and injuring at least 18. So today, this is a procedure going on here. Today, I can confirm and also say that everything is in order. As at 4 a.m., many of the applicants were already gathered here, and they waited patiently at the entrance with some security personnel also stationed at the entrance. Immediately, the gate was opened for them, and if you turn back, you see how they've arranged them. They've been arranged in A and B. Today, we are told here at Elwak, they are going to screen about 800, and since this place has about 2 centers, they are going to do at least 800 plus 800. That's what we're going to do. Let me talk to the director, deputy PR for the Ghana Armed Forces, and let her tell us the technicalities we need to know about today's screening. So, just leaving us is the Parliamentary Select Committee and the CDS. Earlier, you were telling us how this place has been put in place in order to ensure that we do not record any unforeseen circumstances?
Yeah, so as you can see, everything is orderly today. We have the center as the LWAC center, and we have 2 different teams for the LWAC center. Initially, the presser we sent out was that we're going to take care of 600 persons or people per day. Today, based on experience we gathered or intelligence we gathered from Kumasi, the process at Kumasi, we realized that they were able to do about 1,000 a day. So we realized that we could increase the number to 800. So here at LWAC, we are envisaging doing 1,600, whereby each team takes care of 800 people, making, since we have 2 teams, then we are going to take care of 1,600 people. Yeah.
Very rough. Okay, so finally, how many centers are we looking at in all?
We are looking at about 5 centers. We have LWAC, we have the Air Force Base, Accra, we have that's in Bema Camp, we have Nicholson, we have Eastern Naval Command in Tema. Nicholson also is in Bema Camp, and we also have, we have TRADOC, the Training and Doctrine Command at Teshin. Yeah.
So these exercises will last for how long?
For now, we are envisaging doing first 3 days, and then before the 3rd day, we would know how. But we are looking at about 5 days. I can't tell the exact days, but depending on how things go, we are looking at about 5 days, 1 week. But we go with the first 3 days first, and then we'll know how things go unfold from there.
So that is Colonel Evelyn Asamoah speaking to us there, giving us update on what has been done so far to ensure that this place, at the end of the day, would not record any disaster as was experienced sometime last week. So earlier we had the Defense and Interior Committee here expressing their appreciation on what they've seen here today. Currently, they are moving to other centers to see for themselves also. And then also they gave an update on what is happening about the injured who are currently receiving treatment at 37. So far, we are told many of them have been discharged, and also those who are yet to be discharged are doing pretty well. And thankfully, by close of the week, maybe all of them are going to be discharged. We are going to keep our eye on this development and move to the other service centers and bring up to speed on what this Greater Accra Military Recruitment Screening exercise is all about. Joseph Armstrong, over to you in the studios.
Thank you very much, Joseph Armstrong at the LWAC Sports Stadium, bringing us that update, and that very important one as well about those who were hospitalized because of the injuries from that tragedy, and the fact that hopefully they could go home by close of this week. Thank you very much, Joseph Armstrong, and of course we'll keep an eye on this and what's happening across the country and bring you the latest on it. Roland.
Well, certainly. So we want to have a conversation on male fertility or infertility, so to speak. And we have a regular consultant fertility expert who is here, Dr. Paddy Ayeti. Again, thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.
Great.
It's a pleasure.
And since I'm a male, I'll start the conversation.
Please do.
Yeah. The little I know is that we have 5 million babies here. So when you say we are infertile, we don't understand.
Actually, it's more than 5 million.
Okay. How acute or excessive is male infertility in Ghana?
Of the population of people who are infertile, half of them are due to male problems. So if you see a couple that have difficulty in having a child, half of the time the problem is with the woman. The other half of the time the problem is with the man. There's a percentage where both of them are involved, but it's still half.
Okay, so if you're saying that if you take 10 couples,
yes,
5 of them are the cause of their being infertile.
It's from the man.
Okay, from the man.
And the other 5
is from
the woman. That's just a rough division.
Okay. So
to be fair, it's actually 4 from the man, 4 from the woman, and 2 of them are from in between. Yes.
Okay. So when we say infertility among males, really, what does it mean? It means that what?
Inability to have a child.
Okay.
A successful pregnancy after 1 year of trying, when you're having adequate unprotected intercourse. In other words, you're having sex at least 3 times a week, and it's not protected. In other words, you are not using any kind of contraception, and yet you've been unable to have a child.
So what causes that in terms of, or let me ask you this way, does low sperm count contribute to this?
Significantly.
How?
So the average sperm the figures we are using now for the average sperm count is 15 million per mil. It used to be higher. We actually used to have the figure of 20 million per mil.
Which year was it, 1900?
No, we changed it only, let's say, in the last decade or so. Because you realize that the average sperm count was dropping. So all over the world, the sperm count has been dropping. And so the new pass mark has now been dropped from 20 million to 15 million.
And when you say per mil, what does that mean?
It means that a man who produces, let's say, from 0.5 mil to about 3 mils ejaculates when he produces sperm. And to standardize the measurements, we take 1 mil and we count the number of sperm inside that 1 mil.
We
take the total amount, amount of fluid of the ejaculate, and then we measure how many sperm are in 1 mil.
Are in there?
Yeah.
Okay.
In 1 mil. And then we use that to give a figure. So if you've got 12 million per mil, and we compare the next person, he's got 15 million per mil, the denominator is all per mil. So it becomes a standard way of measurement.
Okay, not to take you back. But so do you mean that, for example, Beatrice and I, we've been having sex regularly. It's supposing we're a couple, all right? We're having sex regularly for a month, 2 months, 3 months, up to the 12th month.
Yes.
And no pregnancy comes. Let's say on average, 3-4 times. And no pregnancy comes.
Yes.
You declare that we have an infertility problem.
Yes.
And you mentioned that globally, men are experiencing low sperm counts. Yes. I read an article where it said that stress contributes to it. But aside from that, can you tell us more as regards why we're seeing the sperm counts dropping?
There are several reasons why sperm counts could be low. And yes, we say the lifestyles that we are leading right now are affecting us. We are worried about environmental toxins, smoke, inhalation from traffic fumes, industrial pollution. Recently, we had microparticles that have become a new big deal, that they form microparticles in all parts of our body, and the chemicals those particles exude. We are looking at food and nutrition in our diets, tights, underwear, even the way we dress. Our current use of electronic devices and electromagnetic radiation. Somebody right now is putting his own near his engine of production, and so EMF may be
you mean, Roland, the tablet?
Oh, so you mean for us using the devices around?
Oh, around that area, we are bombarding them with waves, which are not necessarily helpful. The use of the laptop, where we are always putting the laptop, on our lap. The laptop is not meant for the lap; it's meant for the table. You must have, something between you and the laptop, because the heat generated from the laptop generates heat in that area. And there's a reason why, in the perfect design of the man, the testicles were brought outside the body, because the temperature there is lower, at least supposed to be lower. It's supposed to be in a cooler environment. So I'm not saying put ice block on your testicles, but
so it means that ideally we should have been moving around
as freely,
not tight briefs.
So men shouldn't be wearing boxers.
Well, she wearing boxers, but not
instead
briefs.
of briefs.
Okay.
The briefs are the tight ones, which is you don't know. The briefs are the tight one. So the boxes are the free ones.
So when you wear briefs and you wear it in polyester too on top, that's double punishment.
Wow. But at which point would you know that the problem is coming from the man or the woman?
We test both.
Yes.
So ideally, if a couple has failed to have a child in about a year, what do? We go to we advise, go to the hospital. And then your doctor will do an assessment. For the man, it's a sperm test. So we ask to look at the sperm, and then we do the assessment. How many sperm? What's the volume? How quickly does the fluid release the sperm? Because some fluids are so tight that it's like a net. They hold the sperm inside, so they don't release the sperm to go into the uterus to do its job. Then we look at how many sperm actually are there, and then we look at the activity of the sperm. When you put them there, do they lie down or do they move? Because if they don't move, it means they will not get to the destination.
Okay.
Then we look at the sperm. How normal do they look? Do they have one head? Do they have two tails? Do they have two heads? Do they have a big midpiece? All those abnormalities, we look at it. Then we look at signs of inflammation or infection. So all those things are looked at in the sperm. Then there are even further tests, more advanced tests that could be done on the sperm. If it fails on any of those parameters, then we suspect the problem may actually come from the male side. Assuming that on the female side, we've done her tests, tube tests, lining tests, egg production and egg quality, and we think we are satisfied on that side, then most probably it comes from the male side.
What do you mean by the activity of the sperm? I've seen videos where you see an egg and the sperm's running to enter the...
Well, yeah, so the sperm, they do something like a steeplechase. They say it's like swimming the length of the motorway in honey, not in water, in honey. Now, those of us who can't even swim, from here to here, can imagine swimming that distance. And the sperm must be able to successfully do that to get to the egg. The way we're designed is that the best sperm would get there. So if a successful sperm is able to fertilize an egg, it was one of the best among the pool. And if the sperm is unable to swim that distance, then it will not be able to achieve a pregnancy. So if too many of your sperm lack the ability to travel that distance, then it's a problem.
So we're seeing on our screen sperms with 2 heads and the tails. What do they mean?
So if it's an abnormal sperm, so if the sperm has got 2 heads, it's an abnormal sperm. If the sperm has got 2 tails, it's an abnormal sperm. We don't want those ones to be fertilizing the eggs, because if they succeed in fertilizing the egg, it will result in an abnormal baby and miscarriages.
I see. I mean, for us, the male, when we ejaculate, the thing is plenty poor.
Yes.
Poor. So if you say that the sperm, is it sperm? The sperm, yes. The ejaculate. It's
the ejaculate, which consists of seminal fluid and the sperm.
The liquid. So plenty. So how can you say that the thing is plenty, but
sometimes there's nothing inside. Some women will tell you that when the husband ejaculates, it is light. When I look at it,
okay,
it looks light. And you go and look on the microscope, and it is indeed light. The sperm
so when it's thick, the better.
So yeah, if you look at it and it looks thicker, then we presume it is better from your layman's perspective. But when we look at it on the microscope, we can actually tell if the numbers are good or not. And sometimes the numbers are just not good.
So, but have there been scenarios where it was thick, but there was also nothing inside?
Well,
based on your test,
there's some people there's a test, something we measure that's called agglutination, and we expect that after you've left the sperm for a while, it should liquefy. The semen, it should liquefy so that the sperm can swim out. And for some people, they've got some very high agglutination, so it's difficult for the sperm, whatever they are, to come out. And they are the ones that we need to give some medication to try and get their sperm, the fluid, to dissolve a bit faster for the sperm to come out. Or you have to physically go and search inside and pick the sperm one by one to achieve fertilization.
So what if a man is unable to impregnate multiple women, like they keep getting miscarriages from that same person? What would that signify?
So that's 2 different things. So the man is unable to impregnate multiple women.
Okay, so
she's not able to get pregnant. If we do we'll assess everybody. But the suspicion is that it is from the man. If the women are having multiple miscarriages, and it's different women as well, we'll assess both of them. But it is not abnormal to suspect that it may be problem may be from the man.
I had a conversation where they said that, for instance, if somebody miscarriages within 3 months and it's continuous, the problem could be coming from the man.
It could come from the woman too.
Okay.
But you have to check both. Because the man may have a problem. The woman may have a problem. Sometimes both have problems. And the 2 problems are actually multiplying, and they're making things even worse.
Okay. So if that is the case, how pervasive is the situation in Ghana in terms of the numbers?
It's getting worrying. When we're in school, we'd see a few cases of men with no sperm. And it's usually, it's a big deal. There'll be some, but not that many. Now we are seeing a significant amount of young men with either poor sperm or sometimes no sperm at all. And if there's no sperm, then we have to try and find out why there's no sperm. Sometimes we actually take the testis and incise the testis and go and remove the sperm that you have from inside the testis and check the tissue from in the testis and look under the microscope and see if you can find a sperm inside. If you can find a sperm, you can use it. If you can't find a sperm inside, that's even more of a problem. And there are some treatment modalities that we can do for those kinds of people, but it's challenging. You must remember that sperm takes 75 days to move produce a new batch of sperm. So every 75 days, every day we are producing new sperm that started the journey 75 days ago.
Okay.
So if they give you treatment, it takes 75 days to see the impact of the treatment.
That's a cycle.
That's a cycle. The problem is men don't like taking their medication. So you give a man medication, it is difficult for him to consistently take it for the full 75 days. So half the time after 1 month, he stops taking it. Then you have to start all over again. And it takes 6 months typically to a year to change the parameters that you see. So unlike women that in 2 months or in 3 months we can make a big difference, with sperm it takes a longer time. We are trying to address the problem.
So for the women it's better, but for the guys?
For the women it's a bit easier to fix. For the gentlemen it's a bit more challenging. It requires a lot more time, a lot more intervention, a lot more patience. And it's kind of challenging psychologically for the man that it's taking so long for this problem to be addressed and to be solved. So that is always a problem.
So what treatment regimes are available then?
There are treatment regimes. For there's a condition, for example, called varicocele, where the veins in the testes are enlarged. The result is that it prevents, it generates heat, and the testes cannot function very well. If that is the condition, if you are diagnosed with that condition, they do a surgery to cut off the excess blood supply. After a few months, sperm production improves. That works pretty quickly. If there are some things you discover that they are, it's more of you need to give them certain kinds of raw materials for their bodies to be able to work, to be able to improve their production. So we try and do that for them. For some people, actually have to give them, injections and proper medicine to try and change their situation. Some people, however, have got genetic problems. And if they have got a genetic problem, that's very difficult to treat because they were born with a problem that makes it not possible for them to produce. But so if you discover that either you have a genetic problem that you transfer to your child and it's not possible for us to try and eliminate that, or there's no sperm at all and we cannot produce a sperm, then we have to consider a donor sperm option.
What about those who have had the situation because of stress or the environmental conditions?
No, usually that situation, you take them out of that situation. So once you take them out of that situation and everything else is normal with them, give them 6 months to a year, everything would improve.
We spoke to some people on the streets and we'll be watching them very shortly, but you talked about sperms taking about 75 days to produce, like new ones. What about the men who don't have sex? What happens? They don't have the opportunity to...
You don't have to ejaculate to produce. You are still producing. So as you produce, the old ones are dying off, being reabsorbed, they are producing new ones. It's a cycle that continues.
Let's watch what you had to tell us as regards who perhaps is to blame when there is infertility.
Well, I think it depends. Sometimes it's the men, sometimes it's the women. And largely, I also think it's due to the kind of foods we eat these days. And we eat very unhealthy food. I think it accounts. It's part of the reasons why there's a low sperm count. That's what I've heard. Also, men, we like to blame the women when they're not having kids, but we don't go and check from the hospital to get, a doctor's report. But we always blame it on the women. Actually, it cuts across. Men and women both have the issue. So I think both men and women have to go to the doctor for the doctor to determine.
It can be both, right? It can be from the woman, it can be from the men. Because, from the men aspect, you can talk about them engaging in all sort of hard labor and stuff like that. Things that maybe like are heat intensive, right? Those things can also affect their, vitals. And also for the women aspect too, same applies to them. So I think it's both. You can pinpoint that it's from men or it's from women. I think it can come from men, it can come from women. So basically, that's my opinion.
About infertility, it varies, and it's something that I can't say whether it's the man's fault or the woman's fault. But what I know is they have two types. Yeah, the one that you've never conceived before, and the one that you have a child and you are trying to give birth. So I can't say it's the men or the women, but at times our lifestyle too causes infertility. Drinking, smoking, and those kind of stuff too, yes. So that's the little I know. But I know it's God that gives children, so if they are not coming, prayer can help.
Infertility can come from both sides, the male side and the female side. Male side in the sense that they can have low sperm count. female side in the sense that maybe the eggs they produce is not quality enough for their sperm to fertilize?
I think hormonal imbalance is also a cause of infertility. Example is PCOS, which is an ovary syndrome, which can cause infertility in women.
For the females, as she said, the ovary syndrome, sometimes we the females, our menstrual cycle is not like continuous. So when you see any problem like that, you can go and see a doctor and check if you have any ovary syndrome. And for the males, low sperm count.
I think it's from the men, because maybe they have low sperm counts or something like that.
Some of you that are sharing your views with us. Roland, it seems they seemed quite educated, really, on their thoughts regarding what could be the problem. Yes. I don't know what Doc thinks.
Oh, they said it affects the man and the woman. They seem quite, at least that message has got through.
Yeah.
That is not purely a woman's issue, but men are half as responsible.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do we do then? The treatment regimes, are they accessible? Are they expensive?
They are accessible. The expense increases with the severity of your condition. If for some people it's just change your lifestyle, eat, avoid excessive alcohol, avoid smoking, things of that sort, and over time it improves. For people who are close to radiation, we will say, stay away from those things, and over time your body corrects itself.
Okay.
So those ones are, not too expensive. For some people, they would require that you take fertility hormones. So you need to take injections several times a week, and then tablets, injections, medication for several months. So if you're going to be spending, depending on the kind of medication you're on, but even if you're spending 1,000 cedis a week for the whole year, it's quite a bit of money. So all depends on the treatment that you require. For some people, they can't produce the numbers. The activity is poor. So the option we can give to them, but they've got a few sperm, and the option we can give to them is that we'll take the sperm we have, would give the wife injections so they can get eggs, and then we'll have to inject the sperm into the egg because the sperm by itself will not enter. So you have to find the good one inside, pick it up, and then inject it into the egg.
That's the artificial insemination?
No.
Really.
Artificial insemination is way down the line.
Okay.
Artificial insemination is we take the sperm, we wash it, we give it a steeplechase course to do, then the sperm that get to the top, we take that sperm and put it inside the woman's vagina. Actually inside her uterus, through the vagina. So that is artificial insemination. This one, we've taken the sperm, we've given the woman injections, we've taken her to theater, we've gone to pick the eggs from her body, put them in the lab. Then we've taken the sperm, selected a good one, and injected the sperm into the egg, and then wait for it to fertilize. When we are convinced it's growing well, we transfer it into the woman. That's expensive.
Into the womb directly?
Direct into the womb. So we transfer a baby into the womb.
Okay.
A baby that is growing and developing. That's a few days old into the womb.
Wow.
So that's more expensive.
If there are critical things to do, the question then will be, what needs to be the lifestyle changes to ensure that if somebody is diagnosed with, perhaps, you can have a corrective measure and have your numbers
come up?
Yes.
A good balanced diet.
What is that?
They'll tell you, eat something from all the food groups. Generally, our problems are that our meals are a little bit one way, and we don't have as much from the fruits and vegetables part of the spectrum. We would expect you to have adequate sleep, because sleep is when your body restores. So you need to sleep. Alcohol intake, excessive alcohol intake is going to affect your production. Smoking, cigarettes, is going to affect your production. The smoking, when you smoke, burns the hair in your throat, and therefore smokers have the because they tend to have mucus inside there. That same hair, the way that hair operates, is the way the tail of the sperm tube operates. Okay. And so, if damaging that one to your sperm is going to have motility issues. Wow. Smoking weed makes it even worse.
Oh,
so for those of you who indulge,
but I thought medicinal marijuana
in Mary Jane, you need to know that it is not very helpful in this course.
But Roland said it's medicinal. So what is the level of?
I'm talking about
but what is the level?
There is medicinal, and we are treating a medical condition. And if you are treating a medical condition, we talk about the fact that the side effects of this medication may be that you would have this, but in the light of the condition, we are assuming it was being given to you for a very bad case of epilepsy. It is epilepsy, you can die. Low sperm count, we can manage. Which I'm just giving you an example as a balance. Yes.
So don't smoke the weed at all.
Oh, we would rather you didn't at all. And then. So we've talked about exercise. Yes, of course, exercise is very good. And then we talk about the fact that we ensure that we don't wear tight underwear to allow as much ventilation as possible in that zone. So boxers rather than briefs. If you're at home, please allow air to circulate around that area. If you're a truck driver, even though truck drivers have a lot of children, if you're a truck driver and the engine of your truck is under your seat, know that you are constantly exposed to a high amount of heat. So your risk is, higher. You have to see what you can do about that. But those are generally the lifestyle changes. If you're obese, yes. Those who are obese tend to produce more female hormone and less male hormone. And so if you are obese, automatically, you will not be producing as much testosterone. And we need the testosterone to help the sperm to grow. If you are going to the gym and you are using anabolic steroids to try and gain muscle, the steroids are making your production lower. If you are taking testosterone in an attempt to build bigger muscles, you are frying your balls. So it is going to worry you. Because the moment you are taking testosterone, the signal in your brain is there's enough in the blood, don't produce more. The signal that produces the testosterone also produces the sperm. If that signal cuts off, the sperm is not going to come. So all those bodybuilders, if you measure their testicular volume, it may not be where it's supposed to be.
And perhaps my last question, when you talk about food, the kind of food that we eat, what should be a typical breakfast? Because in Ghana, typical breakfast, you're buying your porridge, your kose or bread and sugar, sometimes not kose at all. It's just bread, sugar, and then the porridge, or wache with sometimes wele or something. What should be a typical breakfast if you want to have real balanced diet?
Our challenge generally is that our diets are carbohydrate heavy. And one of the things that we need to do is to try and have a little bit of a better balance in how we eat. So, for example, cocoa shoots my blood sugar up. So if I take cocoa, my sugar goes, sky high, and that's what I've discovered. I wore a glucose monitor for a while, and I monitored what I ate, and I discovered that some things would shoot my sugar and some things would not. Now, cocoa with kose, interestingly, reduces the effect. So the kose is important if you're having to the cocoa because it's going to ensure that you don't have the sugar spikes. Just to give you an example, if we had a vegetable or a fruit with that meal, it would ensure that we would get things like vitamin C, which are not in the porridge. If we're having our wache and we took a bit of salad with the wache, we would ensure that we will get some of the things which are not necessarily in the rice, in the beans, or in the meat. The gari that you add to your wache ensures that absorption of sugar is slowed down. Well, depending on how the gari is made, but it's slowed down so that absorption is not as well. The lettuce also does the same thing, so we don't get sugar spikes. As much as possible, we should try and eat from all the food groups. We need vegetables, we need fruits, and we need our carbohydrates, and we need our proteins. The trick, however, as we've discovered, is that it is best if you eat in the order of vegetables first, meat second, and then carbohydrates last.
That's interesting.
Which is not how we were brought up, because the meat when we were young was small. So you leave the meat till the end. After you've loaded with all the rice, then eat a small meat. But that is not
so you do the reverse so that at the end of the day, you don't end up eating more of the carbohydrates. That's what you're saying.
Not only will it reduce the amount of carbohydrates you eat, but more importantly, the vegetables and the meat occupy the space of the stomach, the walls of the stomach.
What I was saying. Yeah.
No, the walls of the stomach, so that absorption from the carbohydrate is slowed down. Because they have filled the spaces. So now the carbohydrates will now be absorbed slowly all through the intestine, all the way down. So you don't get the sugar spike, which is our problem. You get the sugars coming on a more gentle.
Thank you so much, Doctor.
So if we want to reach you, what do we do?
I work at Elimas Health. Elimas, Elimas.
Okay.
We are on. We have an office practice at Airport's residential area on the Volta Street. So it's quite very easy to find.
Elimas Health.
Elimas Health.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you,
Thank
Doctor.
you very much. Dr. Paddy Ayete.
Yes.
All right.
Fertility expert. Thank you very much. Well, when we come back, we'll bring you some more. Do stay with us.
Diagnosis for lymphoma, so that would be lymphomic cancer, so to speak. And she's here to share her story, her journey so far, but what also could be a word of caution for all of us. But Wune, welcome. You've been through some torrid times. How did they all start for you, being diagnosed with lymphoma cancer?
First of all, I would like to throw a little light on what lymphoma cancer is. Lymphoma cancer is a type of cancer that attacks the lymph nodes in the human body. When it overworks or go out of proportion, it becomes cancerous. I got to know through a very traumatic way because I was pregnant. Few months into pregnancy, I was having unexplainable pains, and I was actually diagnosed from the first instance for gastric ulcer. So they were treating gastric ulcer, it wasn't going, and I changed hospital. I went to a normal antenatal. The doctor just scanned and was like, we need to call the ambulance. I was shocked because we came in, we drove in ourselves with everything okay. So he said there are masses found in my abdomen, so they had to refer me to a bigger hospital. So we went to Reach Hospital. They did a couple of tests, labs, MRI. I went through biopsy twice with the pregnancy, and at the end, they said they've seen that the lymph nodes are cancerous and it's lymphoma. And it was T-cell lymphoma, which was the aggressive one, because you could put your hand on your tummy and you could see shock, like an electric shock. So they said to prevent me from dying, they had to induce me to labor. I'll have to deliver, and then they start chemotherapy immediately. So that was how I got to know. And I was induced. I delivered by, it was barely 5 months, so I lost him. And then I went into chemotherapy. I went through 8 sessions of chemotherapy in Ghana. And they said, for it to be cleared totally out of the system, we had to go for a bone marrow transplant, which I traveled to India for. And I want to use this opportunity to say a very big thank you to Ibrahim Mahama, Mr. Setfiati, Mr.
Ibrahim Mahama of Engineers and Planners.
Yes, he was very helpful through Mr. Fiati, Mr. Abiodun Oyebola, Honorable Jojo Pariado, and also to Stanbic Bank and Mr. Alfred Asamani. They were very, very helpful. I called on them and they didn't shake their head. They pushed and I went through the processes and I'm back by God's grace.
All right. So how really is the journey in itself? Because, you know, cancer is not something you know, it's not noticeable. It's like having symptoms of blood pressure that you'd never get to know.
Yeah, it was not easy at all. It wasn't an easy journey because from the initial stage, we never knew there was anything in my tummy where the baby was because it was not showing no symptoms whatsoever. So it was difficult to dictate. So it got to the stage where there has to be nothing done but to take the baby out. And the chemotherapy sections were very unbearable, the pain through the chemo. And when I actually traveled to India, they had to do another session of highest chemotherapy to be able to get the system ready to do the bone marrow transplant. So it was not an easy one emotionally, mentally, physically. I was looking like almost 70 years because chemotherapy actually changes your system. You look more than 10 years older than your age. So it was never an easy journey. But thank God, God came through.
All right. As God came through, people need education.
Yes.
Do they have like maybe screening that is done or something? I mean, clearly, what did the doctors tell you by your experience that you think by education we need to know?
Okay, on that, lymphoma cancer is actually a very silent one, which a lot of people don't know. And the danger with it is every human being has lymph nodes in their body. So when you have several infections, you need to quickly treat them. If you see any sign of an enlarged lymph node or an enlarged thing popping up on your skin, you should quickly run to the hospital. Don't wait till it's out of order. Anytime you feel unease or feel some type of way that is not normal with you, I pray with everyone that run to the hospital, check yourself. Always go for a checkup. A lot of people think checkup is for those who are sick or down, but please run to the hospital and check because you might never know what exactly is in your system. So that's what I would say, because lymphoma cancer, you don't see it coming. It's silent. It's only when it's at a stage that it is grown out of proportion that you can see it pop up on your skin, mostly by your neck or any part of your body. You know.
Okay. So your hair falling off, was it at the time that you were doing the chemo or what?
Yes, that's the first time I did chemo in Ghana. The hair completely came off. You touch it and it's comes off.
So you were recording your journey on social media or what?
No, my sister actually recorded it. This is just an evidence that people will know that out of this, I am here and I'm talking about it.
Okay, so what should people do now, all of us, I mean, generally? What should be the first port of call? Should we go to a hospital to get ourselves checked, or what do we do?
Yes, the hospital is the best place to go if you feel any unease in your body. Regular checkup, exercises are very important. Your intake of healthy food is very, very important. And also make sure that when you're eating any type of protein, it is well cooked. It is well cooked. Uncooked steaks and other things are also very, very risky. And don't expose yourself too much to chemicals. For instance, like pesticide, too much exposure to pesticide, too much exposure to even insecticide can trigger these things, because there's no particular cause for lymphoma, but these are the little traces that you can trace and make sure that your life is on the healthy path that I have mentioned.
All right. So do you have numbers available? Maybe because now you're doing public education on this, do you have numbers available they can easily call so that maybe you have a foundation or a center?
Yes, I have a foundation we are tirelessly working on for educating the public about it and also assisting people in it. It is Nasim Foundation, which is coming up very soon. The number to call to contact me, because I am open to any brand or organization or even the Ministry of Health to be able to educate people on this cancer. The number to call is 054-2353-941. Call and...
Thank you for sharing your experience and embarking on this journey. It must not be easy for you. And I think we all need to know, certainly, so that we all buy into the education. Buying is very important. And that's Bubune, first runner-up, 2013, Ghana's most beautiful ride here. Has been through some torrid times. Thank God she's okay now.
Thank God.
And lymphoma, when you have cancer attacking your limbs, then it means certainly that the right education needs to be sorted. And
I don't know if I can have a little time to say a very big thank you to the doctors who helped me both in Ghana and in India. Dr. Kate Fiador of Rich Hospital, Dr. Tete of Kolibu, and also Dr. Ganesh. Thank you very much, and all the nurses that supported. I'm grateful. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Bubune, as
Thank
well.
you for
We're always
having
available
me.
just in case you need time to continue with the education as well. But that'll be for the show today. Unfortunately, we can't do birthdays, and so my great friend who is celebrating the birthday, Jane and Pufi Duku, I can't show your picture, but again, happy birthday. You live in Cape Coast. Hopefully tomorrow we'll try and do our best. Bye-bye.